Yes, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Chopping It Up with Charms. I'm the man himself, Mr. C Money Picks, and I'm here today to give you what you know I'm going to do. Chop back up the week of football and regurgitate it back at you with a little bit of a blue-tinted lens. And on that note, Chelsea, Europa Conference League. It seems pretty nailed on now. 3-1 against Astana yesterday. What can I say? I mean, I won't lie. I'm not overwhelmingly impressed, to be honest. I personally think we should have focused on keeping a clean sheet. Not just because my Paddy Power suggested so, but it would have been nice to not concede a goal to Astana, let alone the minor comments from everyone else. It was more so for my own peace of mind, knowing that we can pull out a back line like that, with Watchalong, with Jorgensen, with Tosin, with our secondary, to some degree, tertiary options at the back, and then try and keep a clean sheet. But obviously not. Great goal from them, but it's just frustrating, because it feels like there's always something to improve on it. And I know that's always going to be the case. There's always going to be something you can work on and get better on. But with Chelsea at the minute, like the football we're playing, the consistency and the form, the directness in attack, the amount of players that we have in form, Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto, Jadon Sancho, Nicholas Jackson, I would expect that defensively, that should be the priority, to not want to concede, because we know we can score goals in droves when we want to. I mean, Mark Hughes scored twice, and he's looked shocking since he's arrived, quite frankly, so it couldn't have been the hardest game. Saying that, we have to take the positives. We're in a European tournament. We're playing good. We're smashing everyone. We could have easily walked out of there with 5-6. And we're able to play young players like an Raksaki, like a Achimpong, like a Tyreek George. We're able to get these players on the pitch and get them European minutes. Dan had a really great point, which is, what other team in Europe do you know who's able to give their under-19s European football? And it is a really good point, because I think that the experience that these players are going to digest is invaluable long-term. That you can't pay to play European football. You just have to be given the opportunity. And that is the beauty of this competition. I had a mate of mine who was texting me quite viciously during the Astana game, saying, I don't understand the point of this competition. Just crown you off Fiorentina now. There's no point doing this. But I disagree. I think that not only do the minnow teams who are in the competition get a chance to play these bigger sides and get themselves some experience, but also the players, chill, so early. The players who are involved in these bigger teams who are playing are getting invaluable levels of experience. I mean, I'm not only talking about the academy graduates. I'm talking about players like Mykhailo Mudryk, who without these European tournaments wouldn't be getting a crazy amount of looking, particularly this season with everything that we've built around. But these competitions allow players like Mykhailo Mudryk to go and get some game time. A player like Chukwuemeka to go and prove that he's there. You know what I mean? And I think that is important, especially when you've got 40-odd players all vying for a competition between 11 places. And to be honest, I don't think there's one position in our squad, bar the 10, and right now, or the 9, that's completely barred. I can't tell you someone who's glued in on one position. Reece James can't be glued in at right back with his injuries. Robert Sanchez definitely ain't glued in between the sticks, and Philip Jorgensen's been putting up some great performances since then with some fantastic saves. Defence, I think anyone can make a run for it in a minute. And that's just going to show the benefit of this competition. I think that not only do we get to spread our wings, but we get to show love where it might not necessarily be shown in the bigger picture. Stirring away from Chelsea for just a quick second. England, World Cup qualifiers, 2026, Group K, in the qualifiers anyways. All that's confirmed right now is Serbia. The rest of the names are coming out. I think there's still Scotland to be pulled out, still Hungary, still Georgia, Still a bunch of teams. I think it's a third pool being picked out, probably as I'm speaking now, to be honest. But yeah, World Cup qualifiers. It's gone so quickly, hasn't it? I'm really confident in Thomas Tuchel's England here. I think that the qualifiers is going to be us really, really showing out. You know, particularly when when Thomas does start in January, to see how he fields the side. That's one thing that, once again, me and Dan were very curious about, was how he's going to line up this England side. What players is he going to use? Players like Sterling that he's deployed before, I'm sure that he'd be considering. But now that he's got all the availability, I mean, seeing what Thomas Tuchel would be able to do with a direct forward-thinking player like Cole Palmer is just absolutely mind-bending. I think he'll start Palmer. I think that he'll play the best possible England side, which to me right now probably consists of Harry Kane up top, Palmer just in behind him. I like the idea of Jadon Sancho on the left, Saka on the right personally, but we'll have to see how it does when we get there. Probably Phil Foden plays in on that left. But what about Marcus Rashford? The transition is absolutely wild. People have been talking about Marcus Rashford all week. Where does Marcus Rashford fit in? Is Marcus Rashford back under Ruben Amorim? Do you want me to say it? Because I know no one else will. I think he's done, man. I think Marcus Rashford's time at the top of football is done. I think that he's been a good player, and he was an excellent player at one point. But that 2021 season, 2022 season, whichever it was, killed him, man. The one where Ronaldo came in and he barely scored any goals and he looked sharp. But then, to be fair, he had the resurgent season like a year ago. But then this year, it's just been nothing, you know. It's been jogging about, getting frustrated, in behind defenders, can't make the run, can't find the ball. And United fans are sick of it. Every United fan I spoke to about Marcus Rashford, he's sick of him. And as an England international, he can't get a look in right now. He simply can't. And I just find it interesting that I see his name about so often, you know, particularly on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube. Like, everyone wants to wonder about Marcus Rashford, but I feel like his best years have been behind him. I feel like we've kind of established that over this year. And I think that Amad Diallo is a substantially more potent threat. Play Ahmad and Rasmus Højlund up front. And me personally, I think that's the strongest pair that you've got going forward. I don't think Marcus Rashford could, right now, presently, lace either of their boots up. So it is sad to some degree. But all in all, I think we're milking it. We're beating a bit of a dead cow over it. I don't understand the point of the conversation, and I think we should just understand that the kid's career has probably just hit a bit of a standstill. It wasn't a problem when it was happening to Jesse Lingard. Everyone was happy to just let it fly. You know what I mean? Who's the other one? Oh, that was a banging shout the other day. Someone had said, I forgot now. It don't matter. Anyways, listen. England, I really see us doing really well in the World Cup coming up. I think we've got everything to play for. I think we've got everything to lose. I think we should go into that tournament the favourites, to be honest. And I think we should come out of it victorious. I mean, teams like Spain, fair enough. You know, it's going to be the same team with a lot more experience, a bit more depth to it. But so will this England side. And I think that it was the tactics that let us down, particularly in the final. I think not playing Cole Palmer from early was a problem. I think that multiple people have diagnosed that. He was insanely aggressive for us going forward and scored or had a direct impact on goal from every game that he had been subbed on in rotation. I don't see why we didn't want to start him. It seems quite strange. But I'm sure Thomas Tuchel will. You know, that's a forward-thinking manager. That's a tactician. Someone that's born to do the role that they're in. And I think because of that, he'll know the best team to deploy and how to deploy them against different levels of opposition. Once again, I think that we should be the favourites going into that competition. And I think we should be victorious coming out of it. I'm nothing more than confident and excited for this World Cup coming forward. And we can't fit in a player like Marcus Rashford. You know, we have too much strength in depth to the point where I'm looking at a player like Jadon Sancho, who's in hot form right now, and I don't even know if I can fit him in. Over a player like Phil Foden, who's not in a amazing form, but the level of ability is insane. You know, a player like Jack Grealish, who hasn't scored in something like 44 games, he's still a ridiculous player, and he still shoots from a mile away. And you know, then we got players like James Maddison. Can we fit them in? Maybe deploy him in the middle and then get Palmer going out wide, because we can do things like that. And that's why it's such an interesting conundrum, because of the flexibility of the players in and around that England setup. God. Listen, thank you. Lots of love. That's everything, man. That's everything for this week. Going back over Europe, Chelsea, how amazing we look. Probably going to win that tournament. England, World Cup, Group K, Serbia, get packed. Marcus Rashford, don't fit. He never will ever again. Till the next one, God bless. Mr. C Money Picks, Chomps. I'm out of here. Bye.